Hello. Hi, everybody. Uh, yeah, you're listening to the soothing sounds of whatever's on my Spotify right now. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire. So, how's it going? I just thought we'd have a little music while I talk to you. Chatted with you. I don't know if you can even hear it, but supposedly, supposedly you can. Hi, everybody. Welcome to yeah, you can be here live. Yeah, I did it early so that a lot of people could make it that don't often get the chance to make it. So welcome everybody, and you can hear me, which is great. I mean, I assume so. Usually you're much faster if you can't hear me. So welcome. Wow, I literally had to run and put this together. I had a meeting before this with a gentleman from Raices, which is a awesome charity. You should check it out. We raised money for them. Was it earlier this year or last year? And they are very cool. They do great work over there. So definitely check them out, and we'll hopefully do something with them next year as well. Merci. Cool. So this is a proficiency check. I'm your host, Dom Zook. It says so right there, so it must be true. And welcome. I am here to answer your questions about Saving Throw Show, about the channel, about the shows that we have, and about what I do here, and things that you may not be able to attend a convention for. I hope that I can answer whatever questions you may have. Thank you, M. Mace, for the sub. Don't forget to let me know who you would like to send a reroll to. You can send it to either the table or a GM. So there you go. Yeah, Gamer Girl Games, welcome. Carl, thanks for showing up. It's nice to see you here. Everyone, Megan is here. Megan was streaming earlier, doing some cooking. Yes, I can make sure the table gets these. Cool. You are subjected right now to my Spotify, which means that you will hear lots of different things on there, from the current Harry Potter soundtrack to, gosh, Kendrick Lamar and other things. I don't know. There's some Spice Girls in there. So if you would like to change the song, you can request a song. This is similar to what we do on Manadorks, which is coming back on Monday. But for $2, I'll change the song to whatever you want me to change it to. So there you go. Just a simple thing to keep the lights on, and that's what we do here. Is we keep the lights on. That doesn't make any sense. Stupid. Anyway, I'm going home. So I'm going to answer some questions here. So you are welcome to... she made some terrible cookies. Oh, great. If anyone who knows me, I hate terrible cookies. Okay, so I am answering questions first. So if you submitted a question on the Google form, I will get to those questions as quickly as possible. I am answering questions that were sent in through our Patreon subscribers first, and then I will get to other questions via the Google form. And once I've exhausted all of those, the questions all come from you in the chat. So let's just get started here. One thing I did want to I want to cover a little bit before I get started here with these questions is kind of what do we do? What does Saving Throw need? Because this was asked last time, and it was what does Saving Throw need to sort of what's our next goal? And honestly, the big thing is I want to get to a point where we are comfortable enough and are able to pay people for the services that they provide us with. It's interesting. We've run the whole channel so far has been essentially on a volunteer basis, and everyone is doing this because we all love RPGs, and it's been very important to me to build the channel as something that is inclusive and welcoming, and shows the depth of players who are playing RPGs around the world at tables that you are sitting at and elsewhere. There is not just a singular identity anymore for RPGs, and so we've been wanting to show that and show that off for a long time. So the thing is that we're playing in a very performance rich area, and so there's a lot of competition for the awesome people that we have at the table, and we've been lucky so far that everyone loves playing here, but I don't know how long we can keep that going necessarily. I don't mean to go oh my god, everyone's going to leave the channel, but people put in a lot of work, especially the GMs. Put in a lot. If you've ever GM'd before, you know how much work it is. Now imagine doubling that workload by also producing a show and for an audience, and you start to get the idea of the amount of work that people are putting into these things. So I want to hopefully get to the point where we can compensate them every time they come on the channel, and that's what I'm aiming for. For the dean, you adding a dean. Let's see, I gotta add Mace's stuff. So anyway, that's sort of the next step. Yeah, I am sorry. I'm doing 3 different things at once, which is not unusual for me, but that's just how it goes. So yeah, that's where I'd like to get us to that point where we're able to afford that. What number does that look like? I mean, we're probably talking if we're aiming to pay in the realm of decent wages, not living wages necessarily, but decent wages for the Hollywood area. We're probably looking at double of what we make every month. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a huge leap from where we are right now, and it's not something that's easily done. But that's if I were to say, if someone had unlimited resources and they said, what would you like? That's the next thing I think that we'd get to, is being able to pay everybody. So I wanted to answer that first because that was a question that I didn't quite get to last time, but I wanted to get to it this time first thing. And let me see here. This song. Who else watches Tim and Eric? Anyone else watch Tim and Eric? When it was on, anyway. This is I love. This will be sort of a impromptu karaoke also. So enjoy that. Okay, here we go. First question comes from Vampire54. Can we as fans, other than being vocal in Discord, help make any system or setting into a show that you as a channel would consider doing in the future? No. Next question. No, I don't mean to be flippant with that. We're always listening to people, and we want to reflect what people want to see. And the the thing is we've got to make decisions both from a what do we want to play standpoint, but also what do we want to run and what will make a good show. And the whole thing with the RPG Exploration Society is to tackle those games that may not be great for an ongoing show, but would be interesting to watch, at least to get an idea or an example. So we're trying to expand our RPG Exploration Society library, as it were, or repertoire, and do more of those next year. The thing is, I'll be honest, the thing is with the RPG Exploration Society is that because they're one-offs, they don't tend to do very well financially. Not a lot of people tune into them, and by that token, not a lot of people contribute to them. So it's hard to keep something like that going because it's a lot of effort to cast those things and for people to put in the time to learn the system and put it together and get people going. And it's just hard to do that stuff. So it's a nice pressure valve for us because there's lots of systems that we love that we just know won't work on stream, but we want to play anyway. So it's nice for us to be able to do that and throw that together. But we can't always accommodate, and we've been burned before. I'll tell you. We did this before where we asked people what they wanted us to do, and we had Shadowrun was by far Shadowrun was the system everyone wanted us to tackle, and we did Shadowrun, and all the people that said they wanted to see it didn't show up. So we want to be able to do these things, and yes, if you get, a bunch of your friends together, if you want to get a bunch of your friends together to suggest stuff for us to run, please do, because that will get it onto an RPG Exploration Society. Yes, yeah, I was a backer of Interface 03, so we'll see. I don't know that we're when it will come on, but I hope we can check it out at some point. And yeah, the 3 shots. Again, the thing with the 3 shots with anything like that, we take a risk and hope that you will latch on to the story and will like where we're going with them, because we want to be doing ongoing shows. We want people to connect with the cast and the characters and, move forward with them. And it's hard to connect as an audience member with something that is going to be over in an episode or in 3 episodes or something. And so it's a really big ask for you to be like, yeah, I'm connected. I want this to continue forever. And we would love to. We would love to do that, but we need, unfortunately, more than just people saying that they like the show. We need them to watch the show. And so we look at a lot of different things. We look at Twitch. We look at YouTube. It's a very I don't know. It's very interesting. I really like that aspect of things, but it's also a little cold and informal, or formal, however you want to look at it. And it's not. It's hard to just determine something strictly through numbers, but it also makes it a little bit easier too. If you're looking to start a channel and the show that you're running is, you're not adding viewers to it as you go, then something is up with that show. You to go back and look at it and say, for some reason, no one's connecting with it enough to want to talk to someone else about it. And that's sort of the big thing that we are always running into. I mean, when we say just telling your friends and family about our shows, that's really a massive component, and word of mouth is really the thing that we crave, because if we can get more people watching, it just boosts everything. We can, across the board, we can get people watching more shows, and that's what we want. So yeah, it means a lot to us for people to suggest shows to us. It means that you trust us and you want the saving throw version of that. And that means a lot to me. Like I said, it means that you trust the way that we're going to present it. And I respect that. And so I don't want to put something together that I feel is not going to represent what we're able to do, just because people said that they wanted to see it. If it's not something I feel we can do right, then I don't want to do it. And yeah, sometimes it's for systems that no one here has had experience in, and rather than bringing in an inexperienced GM who maybe knows the system but doesn't know how to run a game for a stream, because that's a totally different thing. And if you're going to PAX Unplugged, you can hear me talk about that. I'm talking about it Sunday at 4:00 at PAX Unplugged, which is in December sometime. So there you go. Okay, Vampire 54 had another question. In the same vein, are there any shows of the past that may one day get to return? Maybe. I said earlier on the Legacy channel in Discord that I never say never, but it's hard. We'll have some vocal people who very much enjoy shows, and every show that we've put on here I'm super proud of. A ton of work has gone on into every single one, and there's so many that just from the work alone that people have committed to a show behind the scenes here. I wish I could give them all shows, but there you go. You have to complain to James Bond about that, Tipsy Flipper. But bringing back a show, if the show, yeah, that's a difficult question, because like I said, I would love to bring back a lot of shows. There are a lot of shows that I loved that just didn't connect, didn't make it out the door really. And given time, given experience and stuff, they might have a better chance now, but it's hard to say. You have to think of it like a channel. We are basically, you're the executive producers essentially. If you don't send tips, then this whole thing goes down. I can't keep this afloat on my pocketbook alone, because I'm also dependent on the tips that come in for my livelihood. So it really is, you have complete control over stuff like that, and that's hard. That's not fair. Where I don't mean to say like if you don't tip, this show goes off the air. I know other people who kind of give those proclamations and stuff, but if I know a show is working well, but is not quite making the money that it needs to make in order to sustain it, my hope is that I can keep it going long enough that it develops that audience, and we're able to get to a point where it will sustain that. And that's something I've learned over the last 5 years, is sort of giving things a little bit more chance to sort of air out and see if we can find problems and nip them in the bud. If that's something that I can, yeah, we've had a lot of fireflies. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, bringing something back though is a difficult proposition, because a lot of people have moved on. They have new projects that they're passionate about, and a lot of times it's other things that have happened. People have started doing other things. They're on a different show. They don't have time for that show, whatever. So there's a lot of reasons why shows don't come back, even if they were popular and a lot of people are asking for them to come back. So trust me when I say if a show went off the air, it went off the air for a reason, and it's probably something that means it can't come back. But we will always look at things, and if we can bring something back, we will bring something back. Oh, the Lion King soundtrack. Yeah, this is oof. As far as I know, no one has no one's put anything forward to change the music, so we're gonna keep going with this. Enjoy. Let's see here. DJ Regular. Rather than making it a regular part of the broadcast week, would you be interested in doing a monthly, bi-monthly RPG Exploration Society show that specifically focuses on systems/games that you haven't been able to play on the channel or that you haven't seen elsewhere? Yeah. I probably answered that already. So, yeah, I hope that we can do more. It's just finding a place in the schedule. The schedule right now is nice in terms of workload for me, and I'm able to handle things. I would love to add another show, but it's one of those things where if I add another show, it could impact the rest of the shows in terms of my ability to manage and produce all of the different shows, especially a show like RPG Exploration Society, which essentially is a different show every week, or even if we did it monthly or something like that, or bi-monthly, it's still the process of planning it. It takes it to another degree. With a show like Wild Cards or Pirates of Salt Bay stuff, where the casts are the same week to week to week, it's less of an issue. It's only if someone is leaving. Rick Budd does a lot of work casting Tempting Fate. That's one that's often in flux in terms of the cast and stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes into that, so that we always have a full cast here. And he has the cast that he wants. So an RPG Exploration Society is one I desperately want to do more of. I love the concept of it. I love playing games that don't get play elsewhere or otherwise. It's like I said, it's a great pressure valve release for us, because we can play games that people want to see and stuff. But it's also a very difficult financially for us, because as a new game and new system, audiences are trying to learn it. They don't know the lingo, they don't know what's happening, and they know it's going to be gone in a week or a month or whatever, and it's not lasting. So finding things that make you feel like you want to connect to it, and like we have with our other shows and our tip tiers and stuff like that, is much harder with a show like RPG Exploration Society. So working out the kinks there, and it's not as easy as just being going like, hey, if you send in money, we can do RPG Exploration Society any old time. It's still a work in progress, but yeah, I do hope that we can bring that back, because I have a lot of ideas for it and I want to do more. So yeah. Okay. Steamy David 95. Has there been a moment in an RPG on the channel or in an RPG that you've played that has impacted you so much you still think of that moment to this day? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to give you a great answer to this, because my mind doesn't work that way. I typically move in and move out because I've got a lot of things on my plate. So I'm usually just like, yeah, that was awesome, and then I move on. And it's when people come back to me, when audience members come back to me and they go, do you remember this? And because I remember everything if you prompt me. But otherwise, I can't pull it out of my head. I'm bad. I'm also bad with music lyrics and stuff like that. I can't do that stuff. But yeah, again, in the Legacy thing, they were talking about when Missy was singing Moana, and that moment I loved that moment. That was just a beautifully cinematic moment. I love the cinematic moments, the things that you can just picture in your head beautifully. You can just see it, because my mind works in film reels, and I see things as movies, and so I'm constantly thinking of how this would look, where the camera would be, what we'd be looking at. I think of in Wild Cards back. I didn't plan it that way, but that was pretty perfect. You have to admit, having the good, the bad, and the ugly play when I mention Wild Cards. Bogue had a couple of moments where he had some cinematic bits. The one that comes to mind is when I shot the leader of the Blackwood Society in the head and killed him instantly, when Jordan had planned this big event around it. And we do still talk about that to this day, because it's just a beautiful demonstration of Savage Worlds and how cinematic it can be, but also how deadly it can be, where you can have your big bad and a peon can take him out with the right roll. Not that James Bogue was a peon, but you get the gist. So yeah, every game that we've had has had a moment that I adore. And sometimes it's a moment that doesn't fit the game at all, and I hesitate to like bring those up, because I'm like, I don't want the game to be remembered for that, because that was not what that is. And I'm not going to elaborate on that. The infamous King Cupcake. This probably gets asked a lot. I'll be the judge of that. But does it ever get tiring and stale watching, playing the tabletop role-playing games or other things you all do on the channel? Because if so, you all definitely don't show it. Well, thanks. We are good actors, because it gets absolutely no. I love what we do. It to me, it doesn't get tiring or stale watching this stuff. Sitting on the side, running stuff behind the camera is awesome, because I look forward to it. And I quit my job a year and a half ago or something like that, because there was a lot of work that needed to be done on Saving Throw, and I felt that I could do it. But also getting to come here and watch people enjoy and play these games and stuff. That's why you all tune in and watch too. That's why you also play role-playing games when you can, and board games and stuff. It's that feeling of community and camaraderie that you get around a table, and it's something that we've tried to cultivate a lot. You'll hear me talking a lot about that, about cultivation, and I don't like shows that have people that are just thrust into them because they are a name, or because they might bring an audience or something like that. That's a great secondary thing, but it does not make a good show. And I love all of our shows because we work hard to put together casts that we feel will play well together and work well together. So yeah, I don't get tired of it. I honestly don't get tired of it. There are some shows where I'll be like, I'm out of it, but the show is operating on all cylinders. But I love all of our shows. Carl Kiesler, DHR Dog. Have you ever thought about guest GMs on the Wildcards show? I would love to see Jordan be a player with the rest of the gang for a one-shot or two. If you're offering to come GM, yes, please. We'll be happy to have you. Emperor Riptide, thank you so much. Thanks for that. Would you like to change a song? Did you? Okay, got it. Yeah, you can tip now, Emperor Riptide, and if you want to send a toast tonight for the show tonight, if you wouldn't mind sending that to DJ Regular. Sorry to throw you under the bus, DJ, but if you wouldn't mind taking tip requests and dropping them into our sheet, or not tip, toast requests and dropping them into our sheet. That would be lovely. Now let me see if I can find this for you. Let me see if I can find this song. Okay. Okay. I think I got it. Added to queue. Let me see. Yeah. Great. Okay. Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. I got you, DJ. That song's coming in. And Emperor Riptide, if you can send your toast request to DJ, that would be awesome. Yeah, Emperor Riptide sent in a tip for a toast. Well, if you have a toast, if you're just tipping, that's fine too. Ooh, yeah. Well, Genghis Khan 2020. Yeah, we'll talk. We can talk about that, gamer girls. Yeah, let's talk. Okay. See, the great thing, DJ, every time you add a song, I always add this song to my list. So thank you. All right, Naughty It. Would you ever do a miniature war game show like Warhammer 40K? Probably not. They're really hard to film, and I have a very I have a way that I would like to film miniature stuff, and things that are focused on miniature stuff would require a lot more tech than we have, and they're not ideal for our setup. We don't quite have the room. If you tip, include the song name in the message. Yes, include the song name, the artist and the song name in the message, and I will get it. You don't need to DM a mod for that. Just if you tip the $2 to change the song, just leave the artist and the name in the message, and I will change it. Yeah, miniatures are really hard, and our PTZ camera that we use to show miniatures on the table is awesome, but it is it must be manned and operated, and it's it's wonky. It's a robot, so it's going like this and stuff. It's not smooth or anything. We don't have another camera. We just don't have the inputs and stuff to do another like top-down table cam that I think would be awesome. I would like to have multiple angles, and also those games usually need people standing and being able to reach and move things and stuff like that, and our setup is not really designed for that. If we stand up, you'll see all the microphones that we have here. If you watch the last proficiency check, you'll know how we're kind of laid out here. So no, I know people who play that. It's also, again, it's finding people who are fun and interesting to watch. And the thing is with the miniature shows is it's hard. My buddies with Dead Gentleman and stuff and Zombie Orpheus have done a long-term BattleTech game, and they've sort of brought in the RP elements to that to make it more interesting. But to me, it's hard to sort of balance that and have those things, because it's super technical, super crunchy in that way. And to me, that's not interesting to watch as a show. I need a little bit more of a story structure to it that is playable. And I know that's giving Warhammer a short shrift, and I don't mean that. I know that there's a lot of lore and a lot of awesome stuff that goes into it, but to me, I don't know if it's something that will work here. So, yeah, sorry. If you were hoping for a Warhammer 40K show, we probably won't do it. Unless Games Workshop wants to give us thousands of dollars to put together a new Warhammer 40K show. Get on it. See Me David asks, having developed Dark Lanterns as a pre-taped show, are there plans for more pre-taped RPGs in the future? Not now. No, Dark Lanterns is definitely a special beast for that. It was always planned to be pre-taped, and other shows. It's a lot. It's a big time sink because we basically have to set aside weekends to film these things. We have to make sure if we missed something, we have to go back, because being pre-taped, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to, just let it go. We want to make sure that it plays out well, and we can cut it down to what we need to cut it down, and we have all the stuff that we need. So, I mean, in that sense, it's alive to tape because it's still improv. We have no scripts. We don't do anything with that. So everyone is kind of making it up as they go. But we have an opportunity at the end of it to go like, was this clear? Was what I was saying, did that make sense? Or was I reaching over the microphone and you couldn't hear me say what I wanted to do and stuff like that? So we can kind of go back and refilm some of those things to make it a little bit easier. But you'll be hard pressed to tell if we did that on Dark Lanterns. But no, it's kind of a lot of work. Honestly, we could do that because we had the sponsorship of Wizards of the Coast to help us out with that. Doing a pre-taped show is something we could only really present on YouTube. We could do it on Twitch too, but Twitch, the atmosphere of Twitch is the engagement with the audience. And if you know that show is already pre-taped and already done, there's not a whole lot of engagement that we can interact with. We can be in the chat room with you, but I've been in chat rooms with pre-taped shows, and it's not pretty, especially not RPG shows. So probably not. Probably not. Okay, that wraps up the questions that I had that were submitted, and I recognize it's only been a month since the last one, so you might not have a ton of questions, but let's go to the board. So if you have other things you want to talk to me about, I'm open. I'm here for you. So feel free to ask. I'm trying to see if there was anything that I wanted to talk about from last time that I didn't. One thing that I have been looking at is channels that have been... Okay, how do I phrase this politically? I've been noticing channels that have been cropping up in our categories in D&D and tabletop RPGs that have 100 or more viewers, but don't reflect that in the chat room. Basically, things that we would assume are being view botted. And so all I say is this is similar to my call out last time, where if someone is streaming under the D&D category but not playing D&D, it's a pet peeve of mine, and it's against TOS. So it's kind of a big deal to me. But also, if you're noticing people being view botted, it's really hard to prove anyone is being view botted. But you can probably easily tell if someone has 120 people in their chat room and no one is chatting, you're probably being view botted. But that's something just to help filter through the system. It's just a problem that everyone faces on Twitch, and we just want to be sure that the things that are ranking high are shows that are actually doing what you want to see and are doing it legitimately and not breaking TOS to do it. So it's a little tip from me to you. Be on the lookout, I guess. I don't know what I'm asking you to do. What else? What about things like reruns during downtime? Here's my thing with reruns. I also wish there was a Savage Worlds category. I'll lay it out the way that I said before. I wish that tabletop RPGs was the category, and then you could tag it with the system that you're playing. That makes the most sense to me. I don't know why D&D is still a category other than that's the main one that everyone goes to. And now D&D is like Kleenex. It's just the brand that you recognize, and when people talk RPGs, when they say D&D, they mean RPGs and stuff like that. So I don't know. Talk to your representative at Twitch, because that's what I yeah, you get me, Hunster. Yeah, there you go. I'd love to. Twitch took away, never mind. Anyway, I won't get into Twitch politics too much. But yes, that is a wonderful idea, I think, if I may say so myself. So feel free to let them know that you agree. Let me see. Come on, everyone sing. Reruns. Okay. So, yeah, they don't answer. Anyway, reruns during downtime. This is definitely something that I've considered before. It's not super difficult. It's difficult for me, just in my mindset, to schedule these things out and play them at a time that people can watch them. And I think that my concern is that I want some sort of engagement value out of a stream. So I know that Critical Role runs their rerun immediately after the show airs, and they have the audience to continue to be there and chat about it and stuff like that. We I don't think are there yet, and so to me, I am always curious about whether. Thank you so much, Tavix. I'll get that song to you in a minute. To me, the reruns, I feel, have value if someone is able to watch the person who wants to see it is able to watch it. And so it's a scheduling thing that I haven't quite worked out yet. And so I guess I look to feedback from you as to, what do you want a rerun immediately after, or do you just want to wait for the YouTube VOD? A lot of people just wait for the YouTube VOD because after watching it live, there's not a big reason to keep watching on Twitch. But sure, yeah, they lock their VODs and we don't. Watch-alongs, yeah, we've talked about watch-alongs too. Again, that's just a timing thing, getting people available to watch the stuff. Everyone's got day jobs, so we can't do the watch-alongs as easily. Sure, yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see us live, I suppose. Yeah, so that can be interesting. An interesting way to look at that. Yeah, we usually do reruns during the holidays. We do marathons, and the thing, Twitch doesn't allow you to do more than 24 hours of a thing. So it's like we used to do season. We would run through seasons of shows over the holidays, but that means every 24 hours or so, I have to go back in there and re-add all of the shows that need to be and restart it and everything like that. And it kind of gets to be a little bit problematic. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice being able to see what the chat said. So having a semi live chat is good. Twitch did away with the being able to add to that VOD. So you used to be able to chat additionally, like if you wanted to, you could always chat to the VOD, and the streamer would get notifications, but there's nothing we could do about it. We couldn't like reply to you unless we sent you a DM or something like that. So I wasn't quite sure what function that served, but you can't do that anymore. They took that away. So there you go. Yeah, I might pick out some episodes to do reruns of over the holidays rather than doing like full seasons. But we will be dark for a while in December. So yeah, keeping people up and around the channel, that's going to be a goal of mine. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. Let's see. There was, yeah, watch alongs is something that I will try and do. All right, Tavix, I'm getting your song in here. Cool. Okay, that's in there, Tavix. Thank you very much. Just a reminder, $2 to change the song. Easy peasy. Supposedly down there, underneath the video, there should be a Spotify thing that's showing you what's playing. I haven't looked at it. But yeah, if you've got questions as to what's playing, you should see that. Okay, let me catch up here. Reruns during the holidays would be perfect. Great. Hunster, I really like that function from a mod perspective, as it did let us respond to questions, comments, even if just by PM. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just 90% of the time they were just like, hello. that was it. So I was like, okay, well, no one's here, but hello. But I could get questions. Yeah, that for sure. Yeah, the reruns are Twitch puts a little rerun symbol if someone is running a rerun, but I've noticed different ways the desktop versus mobile versus everything else shows reruns differently. So reruns are always put at the bottom. Well, no, that's not true. No, it's still by audience. So all right. Yes, DJ. We will need help tonight. But go and catch your shuttle. We'll talk later. Yeah, Rick is unfortunately unable to join us tonight, so we will be running things from the table with a little help, hopefully, from our mod team. Anyway, yeah. So we could run some of the one-offs, some of the lesser seen shows that we have. And see that's been something that's been on my radar a little bit, is to sort of go to the back catalog and rerun some of the shows that we've done before. But even 3 shows of a mini series, that's close to 12 hours of content right there, and then we start running up against the limit for Twitch's rerun capability. Yeah, man. You know what? I don't know if you all have Disney Plus or not, but if you're choosing between subscribing to our channel and subscribing to Disney Plus, subscribe to our channel. Clearly, I mean, we could do a Mandalorian. We had a Star Wars show, so I mean, like, what's different, you know? But seriously, I was watching the Imagineering documentary on Disney Plus, and I love that stuff. I love watching those things, and that's the stuff that I've that really really kind of gets me going, because what I have all these ideas for things that I want to do with Saving Throw. And they're all like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? I don't know if you've seen how they shoot The Mandalorian. There's an article that came out that showed basically they have LED screens around them that project. They use the Unreal Engine, so they're working with Epic Games, and that put a background that can be dynamically lit and everything, and it's essentially a projection screen of what you would look at. So instead of having green screens and stuff and adding it all later in post, the actors can actually see what is in the background. They can see what the planet looks like and stuff like that. That's so cool to me. And I was talking with some other friends of mine, and we're like, that would be so cool to have back here, to have these giant screens. But apparently they're thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they are literally growing the crystals to make these things, to make these screens so that they can appear. And then I think they digitally kind of stitch them together a little bit so that you don't see the gaps between the screens. But yeah, it's so cool. And I just love innovation like that. And there are things that, you know, I would love to do, you know, if I had the ability and stuff, like, you know, to build around here with our backdrops and stuff like that, and have sets and all that stuff. We just don't have the room for all of that. But yeah, it's expensive, but man, it's really cool. Yeah, you know, Star Wars RPGs are awesome. I wish we had more people watching the Star Wars RPGs when we had them on, because they were a blast. I played in a home Star Wars game, and that was so much fun. It just felt like being in a movie. It was great. But what are you gonna do? That's right. That's right, Nora. Did it not play? I don't think it played your song, Tavix. Let me go back here. Add to queue. There you go. Did this already play? I don't think it did. So I'm playing it again. Even if it did play already. Sounds familiar, but it's good. I like it. Thank you. It did play? I'm playing it again. I don't care. Good job. Good on you. Hi, Dirk Portley. Oh, awesome, Hunster. I played the BattleTech RPG when I was but a youngling. And I loved it. I love flipping through all the tech specs and looking at all of the robots and stuff. That was my main thing. I didn't play it right. I was, 10 or whatever. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, the cast. Oh God, can the cast get out of here? I can't talk about secrets from wildcards if the cast is here. Yeah, you think JCC has all the secrets about wildcards? No. I 100% agree, Hunster. Thank you so much, Nimisar. Thanks very much. Yes, I have not gotten to that yet, Jordan, but yeah, so yeah, it's 2020, it's the year of DuckTales, and all of our shows will now be DuckTales themed. Thank you very much, Hunster. Thank you very much, Nimisar. I appreciate it. Yeah, all DuckTales all the time. And if you want to play DuckTales with me, for perhaps the last time that I'll be running it at a convention, PAX Unplugged, I will be running my Savage DuckTales game. And I don't know if tickets are still available. You can play Darkwing Duck in my DuckTales game, Artful Badger. I have statted out a Darkwing Duck, which, by the way, is way out of order on Disney Plus. Don't watch it in the order they have. Look up the order on like Wikipedia or something, because their order is way off. Yeah. Oh, nice, Dirk Portley. Let me know where you want to send that reroll. Did I miss anybody else's rerolls? Let me double check here. Okay. Let's see. Penster, I don't think I got you. Yeah, Penster, if you're here, send me where you would like to send your reroll. Oh, fine. This is better you doing it here, though, than it is doing it at the table. Thank you, JP. Okay. Yeah, I also want to do one thing I want to do is I want to do like a channel video. We surprisingly, after close to 6 years of being around, we still don't have a YouTube channel video that explains who we are and what we do. And I want to do that very badly. And I have an idea for it in my head. I just know that it will cost a lot of money, and money is not fluid right now. Winter is always hard for these things, and it makes sense because a lot of people are doing traveling, and the holidays are here, and so people are doing there's lots of gift givings and stuff like that. So I always try and brace. I have to hibernate and plan the stores for the holidays, for over the winter. And also summer is usually kind of dead too. And I think also for similar reasons. I think people are traveling, school is out, so people are out and about and doing things. And so those are our two roughest times. Thank you, Gamer Girl Games. Thank you. Yes. Someday we will have that. I would love to have it. It's also, the other thing is that our schedule has to sort of solidify, and we have to sort of have it. You know, I can't just like the way I do it is sort of like a TV channel fall lineup, like say the CW or something. That's sort of how I've been picturing it in my head. And imagine if the CW was all like, had all these shows, and it's like, then they canceled The Flash 3 episodes in. And so you had this great video that showed everything, and then The Flash had to go somewhere. And you just filmed all this stuff with The Flash, and that was no more. That's kind of where we are right now, or that you filmed it with all these people from The Flash, and then you fired all those people and you hired new people. Think of it that way. Thank you very much, Eddie Frank. Eddie. I don't have my glasses. I have to look at here. Eddie Frank. Eddie Frank. Thank you very much. Flash had a good run. Yeah, you said it, Gaurav. Yeah, we are going to cancel The Flash. Sorry. You heard it here first. Oh, yeah. Look at those founder badges, right? They're pretty cool. Not too shabby. I like those. Um, yeah. Eventually, you know, if I had all the money in the world, we would probably move to a bigger studio. After we were able to hire people and pay people and stuff like that, we would move to a bigger studio because there's so much that I'd love to be able to do with the set here, and right now everything is so integrated here that doing even a little bit can upset the balance. And so that's why we have backdrops a lot, because it's very simple enough to set up a backdrop without upsetting everything else. But we want to be able to do more, similar to like what we did with Dark Lanterns. And you know, it's hard to get all of that stuff sort of integrated and stuff without sort of a huge budget. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, Jolly Blackburn, that would be great. How big is the studio now? It's I think it's 13 feet this way and about 30 feet that way. And about I don't know, maybe 10 feet or 9 or 10 feet up, which is not enough. It gets very hot in here. We have LED lights, which are much cooler than regular film lights and stuff, but that doesn't help when you have a bunch of them around. And so and you have computers and monitors and other things that are creating heat. So it gets very warm in here, and the AC, because we don't have a temperature gauge in our studio. The temperature gauge is out in the common area, and so we can set the temperature to, you know, Antarctic levels of cool, but it will only really cool the kitchen and the lobby. It won't cool in here because it assumes it's reading that in there, so it doesn't really know. But it's much cooler, much better than our old studio. And you know, as great as Tyler's garage was, it's much better than Tyler's garage. That's great. No, we're okay. I mean, AC is good. Yeah, we just need a secondary unit to be pumping into our room. Tyler's garage in the summer, yep. Or in the winter. Really wasn't great. Hi, local shrimp. Bye, Lady Imago. See you later. We should move into his garage. I don't know if he's got a garage. Does he? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen when JP takes off his Astaroth helmet, but you can see how hot it is when you've got that going on. But our Wildcards costumes were a lot. Oh, what is? Oh, Jurassic Park. Yeah. Okay. Lots of soundtracks in my listings, folks. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. You'll get soundtracks. You're gonna get some Frank Sinatra. You get some Ella Fitzgerald. You'll get you'll get some Clash. You'll get you're gonna get a lot of different stuff here. Ooh, thank you so much. Thanks for the tip. Let's see here. Well, get to sleep. merci beaucoup for showing up. And we will talk to you later, maid. Have a good night. Yeah. There's lots of shows. There's lots of ways that I would do shows differently. Lighting would be different. I've done a lot of work to have some dynamic lighting, but our grid isn't really like, this is a homemade grid and stuff. We haven't, everything is sort of pieced into it. But I would do more with dynamic lighting and stuff like that. I'm just now getting the hang of how to do lights, which has been a fun process. It took me a couple of years, but I finally figured out how to do it. That's great. It's a good feeling. It's nice to learn something and then have it actually function the way that you wanted it to. That's always fun. But yeah, I would probably do something with that. And then the backdrops. I would love dynamic backdrops, like we're talking about the Mandalorian, but even just having something, like like the red lighting during Broken Pact, having sort of the flame look, or getting like a water look for Pirates of Salt Bay and stuff. That's stuff I'd like to do more of. But yeah, it's hard because you have to find lights that work well with video, with the refresh rates and all of that. And those are generally more expensive than other lights. You don't want to raise the heat too much, so putting too many lights in here is going to be a lot. Power issues, things like that. And then just who's running them, because we have usually just one person behind the scenes running everything, running audio, lights, cameras, monitoring chat, all of that stuff. There's just one person. And you talk to other stream people who are doing what we're doing, and they'll laugh at you and go, how the hell are you possibly managing this with one person? And we have to do. I mean, I could set that up. JP. I could make it, but I won't. It would absolutely drive everyone home. Hi. How's it going, tabletop? Yeah. No, that I get the Empire Strikes Back theme. I get it. I'm not queuing it up for you, but my name does fit in quite well. Let's see here. Yeah, so what questions do you have? Any other questions for me? Anything you're curious about? You can ask me questions about tech. I can talk to you about conventions. I'm currently in convention mode right now. Bye Gamer Girl Games. Bye Andrea. I pieced that together because you mentioned Donnie, so I knew it couldn't be Donnie, so I put it together. Anyway, Friday the 13th in December. I'd have to double check the calendar. I think so. We do go dark for a couple of weeks in December, but let me double check. I know. I really wanted to go to Gamehole Con. I couldn't do Gamehole Con and do PAX Unplugged. So the big thing, we have a very there's a lot of conventions that we want to hit up next year, and it's the thing that I have been running up against is with an outfit like Saving Throw, just sending one person to a convention is not. It's not conducive to raising the profile of a channel, unless that person is the channel. So I can fly out and go to a bunch of different conventions and stuff like that, but it's at a point that is not conducive and affordable. Honestly, just sending one person and getting one hotel room for that one person, it doesn't really work. So what we want to do is we want to be able to send teams to conventions and like shows. Sending the wildcards, like at Genghis Khan. We'll be at Genghis Khan. The wildcards crew will all be there. We'll be running games and we'll be doing a lot of things. So if you're in the Denver, Colorado area over Valentine's Day weekend, come see us at Genghis Khan. But like for PAX Unplugged, it was very difficult to get a lot of people to go. So it's just Eric, Havana, and I will be there. We were all planning on going separately anyway, so it just made sense for us to go there as a group for Saving Throw as well. And what we want to try and do is do more conventions that we can have groups at. And it adds up very fast as folks like who have tried to go to conventions or who have gone to conventions that are outside of your local, like as Tabletop Tales says, they're outside of your local area and you're having to fly somewhere or get a hotel or anything anywhere. That can add up very quickly. Yes, we do have a show Friday the 13th in December. I don't know why that's significant, but yeah, there you go. And yeah, I've done panels solo. As JP says, I have run panels there, so it's possible. But having the number of people there that you can have someone running a panel and someone elsewhere talking to someone else. We use these conventions to meet with fans, to engage with people, to meet with other streamers, to meet with other game companies and stuff, and to build the profile and raise awareness of what we're doing here. We'll be at Gen Con next year for sure. And yeah, absolutely doing a meetup and we'll be there. So excited to have you there. Gen Con is definitely one that we make an effort to go to, but there are a lot that we would love to hit up. And we know that Gen Con is just one convention and a lot of people can't make it to Gen Con. And we want to be able to hit up different areas of the country at the very least if we can't get outside of the country. We're looking at conventions for next year. And if there's a convention that you would like us to go to, I ask that you reach out to that convention and let them know that what we are, what we do, and that we're very nice, awesome people, and that you would like us to be special guests at their convention. It feels weird to ask for. It's one of those kind of like almost influencer type things where it's like, why is this person asking for something that everyone else has to pay for? But it's just it just becomes a cost issue for us. Yeah, do that with Gen Con. Let Gen Con know how much you enjoy having us at Gen Con, because they could always be reminded of that. Origins is one that we're looking at. Origins, definitely we need support getting there. Because it's in the same general vicinity as Gen Con, it's hard for us to say that. Basically, what I would try to do is do one in the Northeast, one in the Southeast, one in the South, one in the Midwest, one in the Southwest, and one in the Northwest of the United States. And obviously, I'd love to go to Australia, go to Europe, go to Japan, whatever, if people want us in these places. But we can't do that. Gen Con is a lot. We have a lot of people going to Gen Con, and everyone's paying their own way basically to get there. So asking anyone to do more than Gen Con is a whole lot of work. So hopefully we can do more and get more people out. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Like I said, I would love to get out to a bunch of different conventions, and I have a long list of conventions that I feel like would be great conventions for us to be at. But I'd like to hear from you as to where, what conventions do you attend? Are they conventions that are good? We are specifically looking for conventions that would be good for shows, for live shows, or for panels. Those are, where we can really shine. But if they're just conventions that are purely for gamers running games, then we'd love to come and run games for folks too. That would be great. But if you have ideas, just shoot them my way. You can message me on Twitter or send a message through the website and contact me that way, and just be like, hey, this convention is really great. You should look into it. And I will. But if you can help me out by also talking to that convention and saying, we would love to have these people there. Because a lot of it is still, we're still in that weird part where people don't know who Saving Throw is. And that's not weird. We're, in the general scheme of things, we're tiny, and you have a giant behemoth that a lot of people know, and then you have a lot of little people below that, and that's just how things function. But it's hard to be like, we're Saving Throw and we do this, and that's what you want these people who do this, and just trying to communicate that is sometimes hard. So if you could help us out and talk to these conventions that you want us to be at and tell them why it would be important for us to be there, we'd really appreciate that. I'd love to go to Canada. Yeah, I don't know what conventions are in Toronto. Fan Expo, okay. We can look at it. We can look at it, and then we can get to Fan Expo, and then we can send all the stuff that we can't send like internationally. We can bring it over once we go over the border and then ship it that way. It'd be much cheaper for us to do it that way. Noisily Weeping Taco, great name, but why were you accidentally in Canada? How do you accidentally cross the border? Fan Expo. Okay, I'll look into it. Do they have an RPG track? A lot of times these conventions don't have RPG tracks. Like we just did the Pacific Media Expo, which you were at. They had never done tabletop role-playing games before at their convention, and so we were the very first ones to do it. And it's interesting. It's a really interesting time to be at conventions that people don't know what to expect you at. But we'd love to do things like have booths and stuff like that. But booths, I don't know if you've ever looked at the expense of setting up a booth at conventions, but even small conventions, booths cost a lot of money. We're talking $200 or so at a small local convention to set up a 6x30, basically a 6 foot by 6 foot space. And that's a lot. You look at Gen Con, and Gen Con's in the thousands of dollars for a booth. So we'd love to have places that we can sort of settle and preach the good word of Saving Throw, but it's difficult. Savage Worlds anime. Yeah, definitely. We should have gotten on that. I don't know why we didn't do Savage Worlds anime. Oh, good to know, RJ. Yeah. Yeah, Savage Philly. I am very excited to be at PAX U and working with folks out there. And meeting a lot of you. I'm super stoked. I can't wait. How would you meet up with us at Gen Con? Good to know, Savage Philly. That's great. At Gen Con, we have panels and we have shows. Generally, we don't have a table, so you could come to one of our shows or one of our panels, and you will see us then. And then, as we are exiting, you can always say hi, and we talk with folks, take pictures and stuff like that. So that's what we do at Gen Con. And we also just started last year. We had a meetup, and we will be doing another meetup next year. So that's going to be a thing to look out for. Zarfin, 10 as a vendor, a private convention for hardware stores, also in India, the convention center. Booth fees alone are thousands, plus paying for electricity. Yeah. You look at it, and conventions seem like easy. You totally should play Doomtown. Yeah, absolutely. David, Christine Lab are great. Absolutely. Go to their booth. They have some great instructors who are teaching Doomtown and are very patient and kind. I sat in once when JCC was learning. Very good. So absolutely, it's a blast. You think of the booth, but then you don't think about internet. They don't include internet usually for exhibitors. I was just looking at was it Origins that I was looking at, and you have to buy internet for your space, the electricity costs, shipping everything there for your table, your signage, any shelves or units or TVs or whatever you want to have and display. You have to do that. If you have merch, you need to get merch out there. Like it's a big expense, and that including the travel costs, your hotel room and board, things like that. And you start seeing costs add up exponentially, especially if you're bringing a big group there. So finding conventions that will help by offsetting costs for badges and maybe helping with like a hotel room or something like that. That's what we've been trying to find. But it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of people vying for that stuff, and we rely on fans to reach out to those conventions and be like, it's really important that they're here. And give them a reason to why, because they just come to us and go, why should we have you come? And I can't just go because we're awesome. They won't listen to me. You got fined for using mobile hotspots? That's crazy. Yeah, Vampire. I cannot speak as to what setting we will be moving on towards after ETU is over. So yeah, we will see. We'll see. Definitely sticking with Savage Worlds. As to what setting, I don't know. That's JCC's thing. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point, but we'll see. Thanks. I think I'm awesome. I think the group's awesome, but these folks. The other thing is a lot of conventions don't get Twitch and they don't get streaming, and so you go. Hey, I want to have you at our convention. Will you stream? Okay, what kind of internet do you have? Oh, we have Wi-Fi. We have hotel Wi-Fi. That ain't going to cut it. And then when you start saying, hey, I need, we need wired access to your internet. We need, 3 megabits up. We need all these types of things to be able to stream consistently without it dropping and at a high enough quality that people will want to watch it. Then people start backing away. It's not as simple as just hooking up a mobile hotspot and streaming. That works for IRL streams maybe, but for a 3 to 4 hour convention game, you can't do it that way. One thing I would love to do, Zevon, I'm happy to be your second. I don't care who the first is. I'm just happy to be the second. I'll answer that question in a minute, Ghost Hack, about have we seen any sort of uptick for the D&D shows. Uh, yeah, they protect their revenue streams. One thing I would love to get is a mobile streaming pack. One of the things that uses like the Live View Solo or something. They're expensive. They're around $5,000 or so to put together. And basically, what that does is it uses a bonded cellular stream. So it can connect to Wi-Fi if Wi-Fi is available. It can also, you can buy different cellular modems, and so it will bond those together. So if you are sending out a signal via Verizon, and then Verizon goes down, it will automatically switch over to AT&T or T-Mobile. It will automatically switch over to Wi-Fi. It will use whatever the strongest signal is, and that way it can go indefinitely, and you don't drop out. Those are really cool systems, but they cost a lot to put together. And yeah, somehow I would love to put something like that together. I know Twitch has backpacks for it and stuff, but they're always rented out or whatever. So yeah. Hey, King Mayhem, nice to see you. Welcome. Farquaad Burgermeister Meisterburger is, yes, definitely a favorite. Yeah, look into those streaming backpacks because they're really cool. I like I said, I would love to put one of those together for convention usage, because a lot of conventions want to stream and stuff from there, but they don't have the bandwidth to stream from there. And so we would love to do more streaming from conventions because that's what we do. But not having the infrastructure at these conventions is a big setback. So if we're able to do that, that would be great. So that's down the line. That's a big expense. It's not something that I easily can just say, okay, we can do this. Oh, that's great, Zevon. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Ghost Hack asked if we've seen an uptick, I assume in views, in audience size or whatever, since we started streaming. We have two official D&D shows that are sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. The Broken Pact, which just ended its season this week, this week, and Dark Lanterns, which is just about halfway through, 3 episodes down out of 10. Yes. Yeah, I mean it's hard to track. It's not an easy thing for us. There's not like consistent numbers that we can look at and go, okay, here, and then we stream this thing and then our numbers went up here. It doesn't work that way. It's always a gradual thing. A lot of those times, if you see something that has a big major tick up, there's something else involved with that. And I don't know what to, what numbers to trust in that regard. And I don't get the stats from D&D, so I have I can see how many views those videos had, and I can see it live on Twitch when we're streaming on Twitch. I can't see at the end. I don't see what the VODs have or anything like that. I don't know any of those numbers. So it's hard to say. It does feel like Dark Lanterns had a bigger push and a bigger kick, and we got some more people coming back around to the channel. What I try and look at is if the engagement has come back. So if people are watching things and then they come back to talk to us, so they come back to Discord, or they're leaving comments or something on the videos, or they're starting to watch another show or something like that, that's when I know we've captured a user, as it were. But other than that, it's really difficult to tell if numbers are going up or not. Our numbers have just consistently been on a upward trajectory, and I mentioned this a lot, but yeah, it's just something that goes like this. And if you compare it to other channels, that are going like this and stuff like that, it's interesting. I fight for the users. Great Tron reference. Thank you. Yeah, we need more trolls. I'm gonna regret saying captured a user, aren't I? No, I would never regret. I never regret anything I say. Um, but yeah, that's it. It's great. It's been awesome having the being part of the D&D family, because it's huge. It's giant, and Wizards is really trying to get people. They really embraced the Twitch aspect. I remember way back when we were still doing Barky's Brigade in Tyler's Garage, and Wizards was not streaming or doing anything of the sort. Critical Role had just started, and Wizards reached out and asked if we would like to be part of their Extra Life campaign that year. And I was like, oh, yes, I would love to do part of the Extra Life campaign. And that was like their very first thing. And from there, they really used they really latched onto it and have been using it to their benefit very well. They've really understood the Twitch landscape, and in a way that very few other game companies have. The other ones who have really understood it very well is Pinnacle. They really get it, and that's been great. This is from How to Succeed in Business. Anyway, Matthew Broderick one. I can. If you have education and intelligence and ability, so much the better. But remember that thousands. Yeah, Critical Role played Pathfinder at home. They didn't play D&D. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Who can say if Paizo had figured that out and jumped on it? But a lot of companies, it's hard to see that stuff, and a lot of their marketing budget has been for years geared to something else. It makes much more sense to spend $20,000 on a Gen Con advertising marketing budget doing something there than it is to spend $20,000 on a live stream for a lot of companies. And I get it. But also there's I think that's undervaluing the community that has built up around Twitch and what Twitch is capable of, and so hopefully other companies will get into it. I know that there are the companies that have embraced Twitch and embraced YouTube and stuff as examples of and live plays as ways to show their games. I think have benefited greatly from it. I don't think anyone has had a bad experience with it necessarily, unless your game sucks. Oh, that's great. Deadlands Classic, yeah? That's cool. Yeah, that's my feeling about this stuff. So this video probably won't go up on YouTube because of the music playing. It will completely mute the whole thing. So it will probably live on Twitch for a little while, and I may make it. Twitch will probably mute it also at some point. They may not mute it as much as YouTube, but it may go up as a private thing on Patreon. Just FYI, if you're planning on coming back here, I just don't want you to listen to a silent VOD at any rate. Just so you guys know. You'd think we ran it real quiet for Manadorks, and they Twitch was better about it than YouTube was, but yeah. Basically, all the Manadorks are un-YouTubeable because the YouTube algorithm is too good at finding them. Yeah, Yeah, practice lip reading. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So yeah, we're wrapping up the year. We're gonna have some one shots coming up that I think will be fun. We're just sort of scheduling those out now, so you'll know. We have December 3rd, I believe. Riley is going to run Frozen and Dragons, which is just Frozen in the D&D using D&D rules. So that should be a lot of fun. She's got a great cast lined up for that, and we might do some painting streams maybe. Those are always fun ways to sort of wind down the year, and yeah. What was my inspiration for Ron? No, I talked about this on a talkback for the show, but I don't mind talking about it again. My inspiration for Ron was a bunch of I knew a lot of guys in high school and stuff similar to Ron. They certainly weren't cultists or anything like that, but they were awkward. They had been homeschooled, and they would sometimes just say weird shit. It just would come out. Yeah, well, JP's right, but Cthulhu Fadagan. Anyway, yeah, the main impetus was that outsider kid who had a heart of gold, but just was just not someone that anyone could easily like gravitate towards because they were just too weird. You know, in elementary school, it was a badge of honor for me to do something and then have all the kids go, "You're weird." And that was like my thing, was just how weird could I be? And I wouldn't be like, now that stuff is not weird. Now, like, I can show you my monster manual and show you stuff in the monster manual, and a lot of you probably would not say that I'm weird, but that was weird back then. But yeah, kicking a hole in the fence. So I wanted a character that was that, but then had a sort of relatable, I don't know, sort of personal feeling to them. Like they yes, they were an outsider, but they were genuine, and I wanted to play with the aspect of religion and being religious to a degree, but not in a traditional sense. And I wanted to play with that in a way that I felt comfortable with. And I grew up with a lot of kids that were church kids, pastors' kids, whatever. And they also had their own sort of way of moving through school and stuff like that, and it was what they avoided and what they talked about and stuff was always interesting and fascinating, and so I wanted to explore that to an extreme, and so having him have that cultist aspect to it was also part of it. The other thing is, the real simple answer is the in the book, in the ETU core rule book, they mentioned something about that there's a very passing reference to the to Miskatonic University, the famous university from the Lovecraft novels, and that just got me thinking that Miskatonic was in the ETU universe, and that Ron had probably applied for Miskatonic University, and ETU is cheaper, and so he ended up going to ETU. Yeah, it's got kids songs. Yeah. I mean, the commune. Imagine just a hippie commune, but with the aspect that it's sort of a doomsday cult after a fashion. Only no one is ever going to kill themselves over it. That would defeat the purpose of feeding yourself to Ron to Goth. So everyone is just trying to be the best that they can be. So it was really part of my thing was that it's actually, there's nothing wrong with it other than they're wrong. Supposedly, I don't know. It might maybe Ron Tagath is real. I don't know. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, Ghost Hack. Yeah, that was my thing. Was that oh you can't get into Miskatonic? Go to ETU. Next best thing. A feeder school. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted it to be I didn't want the cult to feel like, oh, they're murdering people and they're doing sacrifices and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with that. They want everyone to be happy and they want them to be the best that they can be. Um, and because that's what Ron Tagath wants, supposedly. So if they can use that, that's what they kind of go by. Um, but it's still they're still sheltering people in a way that isn't right, and that's just a way of talking about the bubble that people kind of live in, and when you grow up and you're in a religious sort of atmosphere a lot, you can be in that bubble, and I didn't want Ron to come out of the bubble and be closed off from people. I wanted him to be open and learning about it, so that Rumspringa kind of atmosphere of I am exploring the world. I am a student of the world at this point is what I wanted Ron to be. This is what I wanted Ron to be. I didn't want him to be completely shut off and just be like, I don't want to deal with anything. I wanted him to be open to things, but not sacrifice his own person for it, So he'll try, pizza, but it doesn't mean he's going to like it. He sees what Calvin and Sawyer do when they get drinking and stuff like that. He's not into that. He's not going to hurt his body because he has a goal with that body, and that's to be eaten first by Rontagoth. And there's nothing other than that. There's nothing else to it. So yeah, it's been an interesting. Ron has definitely been one of my most in-depth characters. I feel like Bogue had depth to him, but it was a very westerny kind of lone gunman kind of man on a mission type thing, which a lot of RPG characters are like. And Ron is like comes from a happy childhood for the most part. Everything's been great up to the point of him leaving the commune, and now things are getting weird. Yes. Yeah, Megan I can thank Megan a lot for putting a lot of those together. We've loved doing doing those behind the scenes videos of the study group on their own, as it were, and there's some beauties in there. But Megan was the tour de force to get those happening. So. Two Cokes Bogue. I got two Cokes around here somewhere. Back to Harry Potter. The last word on the wildcard dice was they'd be ready in about a month, which we've got another week or so before we hit that month mark. So I don't know. Fingers are crossed. I'm really excited. I think folks are really going to like the set, and I just want them to get out, and I want to get my hands on them. But come to the Norse Foundry booth at PAX U. I think we might be doing a meetup there. So yeah, I'll have more information on that soon. But as far as our actual dice set coming out, I don't know yet. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. They're going to be great. Yeah, actually, Jordan built an apartment that actually matches exactly the apartment we have in ETU, and that's where he lives now. So, yeah. I know it's weird, but he did it. He just took some money out, took a loan out from the bank, and just rebuilt it. It's like those people who built the Brady Bunch house. Yeah, he did that. Yeah. Yeah, we're real people as players. Yep. We are real. I mean, as far as I know. I can't speak for the others, but Jordan Pridgeon. JCC would not build an apartment. Yeah. So yeah, JCC lives across the street, and he just peeps in on us every so often. Yep. What's up with Dennis, you guys? Can you tell me? No, don't tell me. If you know what's up with Dennis, don't tell me. But man, I am very curious as to what's going on with Dennis right now. Yeah, you don't know what I was talking about with the Mandalorian. Maybe we're employing it right now. Maybe I'm not even in a studio. No, I'm in a studio. Poor Dennis. I don't know. If you're not caught up yet, catch up. You got time. This candle is... this is a cantrip candle. And we're not sponsored by Cantrip Candles in any way. Although, if you're watching, send us some candles. This is a cantrip candle. This is Brine Water Tides. And we used this before Pirates of Salt Bay to kind of get the feel. Yeah, is he just peeved that Ron ditched him though? I don't know. Ron should make some apple bars. You're right. Maybe Ron will make some apple bars tonight. Not a bad idea. I might do that. You know, speaking of cantrip candles and sponsors, it might be a good time to mention that we do have some sponsors. When we were talking about Norse Foundry earlier, what does it mean to have sponsors on this channel? Because I know that can be confusing in how we talk about it. So with our wildcards, with our Wizards of the Coast shows, so Broken Pact and Dark Lanterns, you'll notice those are on the D&D channels. And we don't do donations or tips or anything for those because those are sponsored entirely by Wizards of the Coast, which is great. Thank you very much. All of our other shows, the shows that are on this channel, are literally, it's like PBS. You are the executive producers. You are the ones who are making these shows happen. Our Patreon backers, our tipsters, and people just watching the channel and watching the ads as they play. You are making this content happen. Now, our sponsors like Elderwood Academy and Norse Foundry, Cool Stuff Inc., and Hero Forge, they are either they're buying ad space on their channel, or they are supplying us with some things that we can use as giveaways or something like that. So they're helping in other ways, but they are not like official. They are official sponsors, but they are not like buying out streams or anything for us. So just I wanted to clear the air and let you know when we talk about our sponsors, that's what they are doing right now. I know it's sometimes I watch shows and they'll say that they got a sponsor or something like that, and I'll go like, oh, okay, well they got a sponsor, they don't need me. That's not true. I wish. Oh, thank you, Tipsy Flipper. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I remember when we got 4 viewers. I remember when we got 1 viewer. Live the game. Live the game if you're out there. Was one of our very first viewers and our very first donor, which was awesome. And sometimes we host Live the Game's channel. A lot of times he's playing GTA online, and a great guy. I got to meet him, and super cool guy. And all you folks with those founder badges and stuff like that, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here when we very first started. We have come a long way, and I'm astounded. If you ever catch me at a convention, I said this last time I did proficiency check, but if you ever get me at a convention and have a chance to if we have a chance to chat and stuff, I'll happily tell you more about things that annoy me about the industry and that I look for and stuff like that. But bye, Tipsy Flipper. Thanks for coming in. Oh, thank you so much, Zavon. That means a lot. Uh, there's a lot that we've done in this industry, and I'm super proud of all of the work and everything that people have put into here. And my hope is that we can flip that around and give back. And so things like I was talking about, like doing another charity stream for Rices, and what we do with Alzheimer's Association and Extra Life and all that stuff, Trevor Project stuff. I want to be able to do more and more of those things. So getting to that point and stuff is a goal. So thank you so much for watching and for just telling people about us, because that's really what helps set us apart, is getting the word out. And a lot of you have been doing great and doing those tweet things when people are like, hey, tell me about your favorite TTRPG live play shows, and you guys will comment about that stuff, and it really means a lot. And that stuff, more than anything, I will be honest with you, more than anything, that stuff helps, because people people see that. I've had people comment more than like Dark Lanterns, more than any of our RPG shows, more than Tempting Fate, more than Wild Cards. When we get a share, when someone talks about us on a social media and mentions us in one of those like Fall of Fridays or something like that, that turns around, and a lot of people come back, and that's where the audience builds, is through that word of mouth. And yeah, if people started watching us after watching the Critical Role and Deadwood show, I don't know. If you have, that's great. Welcome. We love to have you. I don't know, that I didn't see any evidence to that effect, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people started taking a look at that stuff. Oh, that's awesome. Salty Nerf Herder. I still love that name. I love that we figured that out. Yeah, you saw the Gen Con panel. I'm doing that similar panel at PAX Unplugged. So I'm looking forward to talking more about that. I don't know if I'll be able to do it justice as well as Jordan and Megan did, but yeah, it's definitely something that is a topic near and dear to my heart. But I'm glad that they helped convince you to turn around and watch the show. That's why we want to get to conventions, and that's why we want to get out there. We love to meet with people and talk with people and show them, just share our passion for tabletop role-playing games and role-playing games in general, and card games and board games and stuff like that. But we love the gaming space, and we want people to feel welcome and to feel like they have friends in the space that they can turn to and ask questions of and watch and enjoy. So that's the bottom line of what we're trying to do with Saving Throw. And yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, have watch-alongs at home. I'll think about doing watch-alongs on stream, and yeah, see, yeah, here we go. This is a throwback song. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, Black Bag Vikings. I don't think anyone's ever going to get the rules 100% right. I think in the case of Undeadwood, certainly no harm, no foul in that regard. It's a lot of times is the story being served by this rule. You know what I mean? We took effort when we put together wild cards to have a show that showcased the Savage Worlds rule set, and we would make every effort to do it the way that it was written and play with those rules. And sometimes we're more successful than other times. But also we have to think of what's going to make an entertaining show, and will this rule kind of help or hurt the story we want to tell? And then you have to kind of make that decision, and you have to talk about, well, is this system right for the story that I want to tell? That's something that I talk about in, or will be talking about at PAX Unplugged. It's definitely something that you have to consider, and I think with Undeadwood, I think they made the right choice. But yeah, it's difficult if you're coming into it, and I think a lot of their fans are coming into it having not had the experience of playing Savage Worlds before, and so you kind of, it's easy to kind of go like, oh, you showed them the wrong way to do it, now they're never going to do it, or they're going to do it wrong or whatever. But I don't look at it that way. I think they showed him the potential for the system, and hopefully they will go back and ingest some new things and try some new ways, and hopefully look at other different streams that are doing the same thing, but maybe in a way that's more closely hews to the rules as written. Who knows? But I think Undeadwood was great. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. See, that's great, Zarfin. See, that's what we want. He apologized? Oh, he shouldn't have apologized, Zevon. I mean, he's the GM. He can make those decisions. That's the thing. I feel like Critical Role gets a very bad rap. They get the whole thing with the Mercer way of doing things and stuff. And Matt is the nicest guy in the world, and he doesn't want anyone to do his things his way. He does his things his own way. You don't have to do things that way. You don't have to do things the way that Jordan Case Callerman or Rick Budd or Stephen Pope or any of our GMs do things, or Abria, who is amazing. If you're not watching Pirates of Salt Bay, start watching it. Musical episode on Tuesday. But anyway, you should pick up ideas and then run things on your own. Apologizing for the way you ran a game, like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. And yeah, thank you, Zarfin, for that note. That's we love to. One of the things was, if someone watches someone here, maybe they'll watch them on another stream. So I'm really glad that worked out. That's great. And Jordan is great fun. I wish he were here in chat to hear me say that, but sadly, we'll never know what he thinks, and I'll never tell him to his face. So he'll never know. Yeah. As far as I know, with Undeadwood, they were doing things differently. They had their own homebrew things. That's totally fine. Yeah. Literally, I cannot talk to JP, not to his face. Yeah. Yay, Artful Badger. Yeah, that's awesome. Steal everything. Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, Roll for Shoes was the start of a lot of it. Well, on this triumphant Batman music, I think I should say goodnight, because I have to start getting ready for Wild Cards, which is here tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, so that's just about 3 hours away. So I hope that you can come back and tune in for that. We're playing East Texas University, as if you didn't already know, but it's a Buffy-type setting, so a little bit of magic, a little bit of supernatural, a little bit of horror, and some school thrown in. So I do hope that you can check that out. And then on Sunday, we have part 2 of Hero Pups on Tempting Fate. So people desperately wanted a Hero Pups game, and they paid money, cold hard cash, for 3 Hero Pups games. So part 2 is coming up this Sunday. Monday, we are back to Mana Dorks. Broken Pact is off the air now, so Mana Dorks, they're coming back to the channel. Gaurav and Jordan Pridgeon are going to be playing some Magic the Gathering arena for folks and answering your Magic questions and playing some games with you, in fact, and listening to some music and just having a grand old time. So that's 8 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Wizards' YouTube channel, D&D Wizards, is the next episode of Dark Lanterns, which Megan is in, and Gaurav GMs, and also Tyler Rhodes, Xander Jeanneret, and Ashlyn Rose are all in that. If you haven't been watching that, they're only hour-long episodes, so you could easily just, during a lunch break or something, just catch up and listen to that. And then Tuesday night at 8 p.m. is the season finale of Pirates of Salt Bay, which is going to be a musical episode. So I am super excited for that. The cast has been going bonkers, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with that. It's that one's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely tune into that, and then we're back to wild cards. Actually, no wild cards next week because it's Thanksgiving next week. So we're off the following week. But and then I'm at PAX U the week after that. So I won't see you for wild cards for a little while. So anyways, I will see you for wild cards tonight. So I hope you can join us. Say hi. And just be nice to the mods in chat because they're going to be working extra hard tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. You're beautiful people. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a handshake. Pat on the back. You've been doing a great job. You made it to the end of the week. Wildcards starts in about 3 hours. We'll see you then. And toodaloo. Bye.